All right, y'all. We back. We on this thing. Y'all come in. Y'all talk to me. Y'all let me know what's the word. What's going on. We had some difficulties. I'm about to see how this look now before we even.
You have your patrol type dogs, you have your sensory dogs, you have your personal protection dogs, you have your estate guardians. Um, there's different types of protection work, and a lot of people want to lump all protection dogs in the same.
Let's go back because this is something a lot of people need to understand and
Even in
realize.
protection industry, you have dog is going to be restrained when you don't want it to catch the hogs. And there are different types of band dogs. There, even in protection industry, you have your patrol
Bet.
type dogs, you have your sensory dogs, you have your personal protection dogs, you have your estate guardians. Um, there's different types of protection work, and a lot of people want to lump all protection dogs in the same mindset. You have police canines, military canines, which are more apprehension oriented. Um, and David's dogs, being a mastiff type dog, they're going to be as powerful as anything that you can get when it comes to brute strength and mass. And so they're, in my opinion, he may disagree, but I think his dogs are great for that sensory mindset where they don't have to do a lot of leg work, a lot of all day hiking, but they're going to be the heavy hitter that has to stop somebody in 5 feet. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah, that's more how I think. Like
that's his dog over there. We were doing his second session today.
Yeah, he's frustrated. He wants to come over here. Yeah, that's more how I think of him as like home defense. I had somebody one time ask me, could you breed a slightly different type of Midgard Mastiff that was like smaller and more.
He'll be better over here, Brandon.
Well, I just don't want him to.
I'll move over to the right.
Okay. I don't know if I got a leash to contain him.
I'll tell you what, we'll just keep on rolling, and I'll cut the camera here for a minute. But you don't cut it. I'll do it. I'll splice it, and we'll just slide over there. So go ahead and tell us about your dog here, David.
Well, this is Vulcan. He's a grandson of Osiris, the Crixus. He's mostly in the house. He's pretty heavily socialized. We have a dog door, so I try to keep him a little more on the social side. But I don't want him to be entirely socialized, so we're doing a little bit of bite work. The sort of rule of thumb I usually go with is like 10 to 1. So one session of protection and training, and then 10 sessions of socialization.
Right.
That way the dog's kind of like, most people are okay, some people need to be bitten.
Yep. In fact, I've oftentimes thought as a trainer, when you're dealing with a dog that's a mastiff type mindset, a lot of people seem to struggle with training it.
I'm Noel Honig, and I'm a director and a designer. If I'm working with type in Photoshop, the properties panel.
So I just want to say one thing. So with the so Lee kind of spoke about the different types. There's the ones that kind of roam property and look for issues or things that might be out of order. There's protection dogs that are right there with you, that walk with you, they go everywhere with you. I think my goal is home guardian as well as of course the catch dog. I want a dog that's capable of going to go catch a hog and disassemble it, and then 30 minutes or an hour later, he or she on the floor playing with the kids and being able to understand what's prey and what's not, and what's a threat and what's not a threat. Just proper discernment and proper understanding of when it's time and when it's not time. That's something I look for. And right now, I've been trying to look past the Borble, like not look past it as if I'm not using it, but look past it as if what's the next step after the Borble. But there's so much footwork that's going to have to be put in to the South African Borble once I get it and once I use it. Just testing, understanding what comes with it, what its weaknesses are, what its strengths are, just things like that. And and I mean the best way to understand this is testing what its weaknesses are, what I can add to it to strengthen it, no matter if that's a American Pit Bull Terrier, American Bulldog, Great Dane, Tosa Inu, whatever. And I'm just naming off different dogs that might be used that I can use to understand how to better the Borbal and build an all-around dog. See, that's the thing. Well, I keep the dogs inside or outside. Probably some inside. Can they comfortably fit in your car? See, I've been working on a standard that I want. I don't want a standard look, such as color and a recessive trait, but I want a certain size. I want that dog to be from females. Females can be from 85 to 115. Males, I want from 125 to 155. So possibly a truck. I mean, I'm all about the mastiff breed, so I'm going to have room. But I don't know about all them dogs in the house because it's going to be a good amount of dogs. So I don't know about all them dogs in the house. Maybe one or two, and then some will be outside. But we'll get that proper socialization as well as love and care. You feel me? These some good questions now. Salute to you, brother. So let's go ahead.
Kind of puzzles me a little bit because it seems to just be something I guess I get, but and I'm certainly not a master trainer. I would never consider myself to be a master trainer. If a person wants to go compete, go train with somebody other than me that has a lot of experience with that. But when it comes to stimulating a mastiff, I've always found it to be pretty easy, and I've seen other decoys that really struggle with that. So it's just they are a different mindset. They're a softer-minded dog when it comes to their handler, and so my dogs tend to be, because of the mastiff influence, they tend to be softer. They're to the family and the handler. So if I overcorrect them, it can shut them down a little bit. And then his have even more mastiff than mine. So if his dog has been socialized a lot, that can actually be difficult when you're first teaching the dog to engage in protection work, because that dog may have met 50 people. It's always been told no. It's always been told to be nice. And then out here, it's going to learn to express itself in a protective mindset. And mastiffs are good at that. When you have a good mastiff, they're really good at that.
And in this case, soft doesn't mean meek. It means like the opposite of hard-headed, kind of towards the handler. So when you give a correction to a dog, a really hard dog, you have to give a really hard correction for that dog to understand that he's being reprimanded, right? A lot of discipline. But a softer dog, a little bit of discipline goes a long way.
It has nothing to do with the dog's ability to sustain combat. Right. We're talking about responding to the owner, the leader of the group.
Right. And so, I think the reason mastiffs tend to be that way is because it was probably necessary.
Absolutely. And in fact, I was thinking about that earlier. And so I'm glad you bring it up. Go ahead, elaborate.
Well, just because with a dog that physically powerful, you can't depend on being able to physically control the dog. You have to be able to mentally control.
That's one thing I do want to say. So I had a Presa Canario for about. So I had a Presa Canario. He was hard headed, and then if I'm a bigger guy, stronger guy. I've always been stronger than most, so I could handle that dog. Not everybody's gonna handle that dog. I have a buddy. He knows I know a good amount. I'm not gonna say I know a lot. I know a decent amount about dogs to understand what somebody can handle and what somebody maybe can't handle. But he's not that big of a guy himself. He's probably 5'8", 100 and I don't know, 50, 60, 70 pounds. And his girlfriend's like 5 foot 4'11", probably 100 pounds soaking wet. He's like, I love the mastiff breeds, but I don't know which one would be perfect for me. And that's one thing. Like they're stating, the mastiff is handler sensitive. And there's more breeds that are emotionally intelligent, such as the Great Dane, that can understand what's going on, what's being said, that might not be as hard headed and might be wanting to do whatever you're telling it to do. Uh, but that can't be said for all dogs, and especially within those breeds I named, there might be some Great Danes that are hard headed that might not want to listen, or might be a little too pushy and might not understand when it's time to chill out, or when, like you said, when it's being reprimanded. So there's just an understanding. You got to understand what you can handle, and as a breeder, you got to understand personnel who you're giving that dog to. I told him, do your research. I mean, he wants more than one dog, so told him possibly get that one dog and then see how you like it, and then work one in. Don't, which like I want to get into that more because there's a lot that could go wrong. People could possibly get injured or killed. So I feel like the Doberman would be more obedient than a Doberman. Talking about the Doberman Pinscher and the Doberman, or are you talking about? I'm not sure. Um, yeah, possibly. He said I feel like the Doberman would be more obedient than the Great Dane. That's what you meant to say. Okay. So, possibly, yeah. There's definitely a chance. I mean, I grew up with some Dobermans. My uncle's a Doberman, was and is. He doesn't breed as much now, but he's a Doberman breeder, and he's had some Dobermans that were hard headed, females actually too, that didn't like to listen. Like he had the I ain't gonna say shock collar, but I mean that's what it is, stimulation collar to give correction, and he also, I ain't gonna say he went upside the head, but he he did. He didn't abuse the dog or nothing like that, but like pitch collar stuff like that. He did physical correction as well, but nothing too hard because like once again, it's not a master, it's not a dog. That dog might not trust you after that, so you have to be careful of that. So yeah, but like I said, not all dogs are the same. Also, so we have to understand, and you have to understand as an owner what that dog is that you have in your home, and that you're dealing with. Enough of me yapping. We gonna hold on. What Hunter say? I feel like if you get a badass catch dogs using mastiff, you're gonna naturally end up with one that's got some protective instinct. Most people with common sense won't want to try that dog anyways. People are gonna have different opinions about what's obedient though. Some people are gonna prefer a smart breed that can do more, but some are gonna want to breed this with less of its own mind. That's true. Cause my dog, my presser was smart. I mean, he would I'll do one thing and he'll run and do what I'm trying to get him not to do. I mean, like I said, it's just all about the dog you have in front of you. But some people might want a smarter dog also. But then again, you get a smarter dog, and them also be might be more of a more hard headed dog also. But it can be a win in your favor also. So it's all about what the person wants. It's all about personnel and preference. So let's get back to the video.
Um, because some of these mastiffs are so, like Achilles, I remember specifically, so strong that it's like it's very difficult to guarantee that I can physically control this dog at any point.
Yeah, and he's talking about even from the handler side.
Yeah,
he's not talking about the opponent, the bad guy side.
right.
Like a 50-pound dog that's super intense, super athletic, strong for its weight.
I don't want to make it all about me because we are going over this video. But can y'all imagine a young man with the myself 12 years old with a 150-pound Presa Canario that don't want to listen, and me trying to manhandle and handle that dog? Boy, nightmare.
Clean and in shape is really difficult to control when you're the one being bit. But it's easy to control when you're the one holding the leash because it's only a 50-pound object. You can pick him up and you got it. But when he's biting you, if it's a very ferocious and determined dog in combat,
Lee, Mr. Robinson.
This game, you're not ready for it.
Check. Is that what Joe say? Send a check.
Person that's getting bit, that's a good 50-pound dog is a very capable dog. However, they're not going to stop somebody in 5 feet. But a bigger dog like this, or like Achilles, it gets to a point that one of the reasons why my program focuses on smaller dogs is because, one, there's two real reasons. I like, well, you could even say three, but because we both live in Mississippi, but he's using his dogs mostly as a home protection, family protection dog. And I like a dog that's capable of doing that, but I also like a dog that when I go, and I'm overweight, so it's not like I'm some runner nowadays. But when I was younger, I was pretty athletic, and I did cycling, I did kayaking, I would go hiking, and I could still go hike today, and I plan on getting back in shape one of those days, but you know how that goes. And so I like a dog that's able to work out in the heat for a long time, go hog hunting. It's still very agile. But the other thing is my wife and my daughter and my son, who's going to get bigger later on in life, of course, but my wife just can't handle a dog this size. She doesn't, even from the leash end, she's not physically able to. So, you know, I like the dogs in the 75 to 115 pound range. 70 pound minimal size female would be okay with me. And then, you know, a really big female would be about 90, 95 pounds for me. I've got a couple females that are bigger than that. And that's good because I got some females that are small, you know, on the small side. And then on the males, I like my minimal male size. Even though an 80-pound dog is certainly capable, I want my males bigger than that because the average of the genders, the females tend to be smaller than the males. So if the smallest size that I want is like a 70-pound female, I want my males to be, generally speaking, 90 pounds, maybe 100 pounds. If they're bigger than 100, you're getting into a little bit larger than what I personally want for my goals. But for the home protection type dog, if you have a good Mastiff, it's a very, very capable dog. And I've been telling David for a long time I was going to say this, but his dog Osiris is without question the best Bandog I've ever worked that did not come from my program. And that dog was just as good as anything I've had. So that dog is phenomenal. I really like Osiris.
Yeah, and he was like 140 pounds.
Yeah, that dog can run all day. To me, it looks like you may have to be careful about heat just because he's big, but yeah, he certainly is athletic enough to do it if the weather's not super hot.
Yeah, he's got more Neo in him than Osiris does, so he's not quite as lean as Osiris, which I could condition him, you know, and get him there. But Osiris stays there even without conditioning.
Yeah, Osiris is phenomenal. In fact, I even tried to breed Osiris once, but the female that I bred to him, she didn't take, and it's probably her fault because she was a tough breeder.
Yeah, but you know, I've had people ask me, you know, can I make a smaller version of the Midgard Mastiff? You know, something that was had a little more pit bull blood. You know, because they wanted something they could do, like put in a car with them, they could work out of a window and things.
Let me say one thing right quick. Sorry, we ain't even 10 minutes in, boy. I'm probably like he talking too much. Salute Jay, salute White Wait. So Jay, we're getting into. Oh, did I go out of the video? The devil is a lie. I did. I apologize, y'all.
Bred to him, she didn't take.
Yeah, but So Jay, we're talking about Bandogs, yes, because of course at some point I will have I will run a Bandog program. I'll run different singular programs within my kennel at some point in time. But my first goal is performance mastiffs or hybrid mastiffs or battle crosses. I mean, whatever you would like to call that. Excuse me. So what I was saying. So yeah, we talk about Bandogs, but a lot of this can be pointed towards performance crosses. I mean, because it all plays into each other. It's all in the name of performance, and it's all in the name of genetics and crossing certain dogs to build on top of traits that you might like, that you want to improve on, or traits that might not be there, but there's a dog that you like that might not have it. So you cross something that's missing into the dog that you like. So we're just kind of getting into that, and we have two big dogs, I'd say, that are the perfect guys to listen talk about this, because of course I can't interview them yet because I'm not that big and they might not know who I am, but we'll get there some point definitely. But this is just a good way because I don't feel like everybody might have saw this video. Oh, because I've watched it multiple times over just to kind of get a better understanding of band dogs and performance crosses. So salute new dog man. Salute to you, man. How you doing? Nile C, 75 pounds is enough for a man stopper. Yeah, that's around what Lee that's around Lee Robinson's that's around the weight. He has a couple dogs, a few dogs at that weight. Yeah, I mean, just imagine a dog flying at you at top speed. I mean, you're not gonna, unless you're a bigger dude, you're not gonna be able to stop that. And even if you are big, them teeth, you're not invincible. So yeah, 75 pounds is definitely enough for a man stopper. And I think I might get into the man stopper. I'd say the definition, the different variants of man stoppers, what people believe man stoppers are. I mean, there's so much I could go into or go off on in this video alone. So let's get back to it. Enough of me yapping. I think but yeah, new ain't nothing going on new. You know, just some real dog talk, some real networking, some real information going on. You feel me? The right way, the dumb way. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
And it's probably her fault because she was a tough breeder.
Yeah, but I've had people ask me, can I make a smaller version of the Midgard Mastiff? Something that was had a little more pitbull blood. Because they wanted something they could be like put in a car with them, they could work out of a window and things like that. I was like, why? Just go to Lee.
Oh,
just get one of his dogs. Sorry.
Yeah, and people need to be honest about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And what they want. A lot of people think that they want.
Yeah.
A dog like my dog. I got some super intense dogs out here. David, I'm sure would tell you, Scratch, Bumper. Those dogs are through the roof. And if you have a dog that's this size with that intensity, and a lot of people say they want that, when you get it, you're going to find out you probably don't want it, because if that dog ever decides to run the house, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Watch.
So we 10 minutes in. I know. I'm talking a lot. Do they have a pedigree for the band dogs? I'm pretty sure they are. I'm not sure if you can find it online. I've noticed you can find a lot online. I've been in a bite suit against a 50-pound female Malinois. They definitely can do the deed, but it's all a game for them. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the issue with a lot of, like, with the Malinois, not to just kind of point them out or target them, but that sleeve definitely becomes a game to them, to where, or they become a fiend for it, to where they don't want to do flesh work, or they don't want to go after a man if they don't see a sleeve, or like my guy said, uh Rain at Unscripted Podcast, like he said, they have a gas can or gas tank. What I was saying. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought, I think. What did they just say? Because oh yeah. See, the problem with me with the Performance Mastiff, I've looked at a lot of different breeds to what I want to add to the Borbal. I do want to add some leg. The Borbal standard stops at 27 inches at the withers for height. So and some hunters say the standard weight, the standard height for is 28 to 32 inches. I've said this in an Instagram post. If you follow me on Instagram at Catch Dog Concepts, go ahead, follow me on there if you would. But yeah, there's only a certain few couple dogs that get to the height that have the desired look that I want. Tosa Inu, English Mastiff, Great Dane, a couple other dogs. But a lot, like say for example, not to target the Tosa Inu, they have they have a tendency to really be dog aggressive. And in that instance, that could cause me to lose some dogs that I have in my yard. And also adding that temperament to a 130, 150 pound Borbal in the height of a Tosa or however big it gets, because I mean it's not gonna be perfect. I mean, that's scary. Just that dog wanting to kill whoever's on the property or whoever's whatever dog is out there. I mean, it's gonna be tough to control. And like I said, I'm a bigger dude, so I could possibly do it. But then again, it's still a challenge for even me. So who's gonna be able to stop that dog when he wants to kill somebody or something? So you have to take into account liabilities and what comes with the dog once you add that to your program and mix it with something else. Yeah, Hunter, you're correct with that. Have you seen a guy in Europe that's breeds like 90-pound Connie Corsos? I haven't saw that, but I do know a guy. He said he prefers his stud, like his male Corsos at niggas Lapatenza Connie Corso. He prefers his males at I think 116 at the most, and he hog hunts with those. So when we get to these 150, 180, whatever Corsos, I mean, you're just doing it for a look at that point.
Yeah, dogs like that. You end up in a situation where you either keep them contained all the time and they never get loose because you're worried what'll happen if they get loose. They could encounter a mailman or something like that.
Yeah, it's a big dog. You can't, if you had a dog that size with that intensity, it's just going to be too much.
Yeah,
you need a permit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like buying a lion.
Yeah, and it'd be a constant danger. So for the most part, they end up just locked away. So you gotta have a balance somewhere where you can live with the dog without it being super high maintenance.
Yeah. As far as the Bandog industry as a whole, I would like to see more consistency. There's a lot of variation. A lot of people argue about what is a Bandog. A lot of people think it's just any type of Mastiff Bulldog cross.
Or people got it in their head it's a specific recipe. And a lot of this comes from Lucero popularity in the 80s, which is where a lot of people first encountered the idea.
Yeah, it was real popular in the 90s.
Or 90s, yeah. So a lot of people first encountered the idea through there. So they think that, like, to get a Bandog, you have to cross a Neo with a pit bull.
Yeah.
That's how you make a Bandog.
But
Bandog is a much older word.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even know what a pit bull was. Joe Lucero really didn't even use true pit bulls. He used these Amstaff type dogs and Neapolitan blood.
Might have to do a little video on Joe Lucero. See, like I said, I watched this multiple times, like 2 or 3 times over, and there's still stuff I'm picking up now, as you can see. So we're definitely probably gonna do something on Joe Lucero. I'm gonna have to note that.
And not really breeding dogs anymore. He kind of got out of it. But when he got a good one, it was a good dog. They were also bigger than what I like, sloppier than what I like. His favorite one was my favorite one that he had was a dog named Jaws, and he didn't produce Jaws. So,
but the I guess my main point is
the recipe. People thought it was the recipe.
People thought it was a recipe.
The Neo pit.
Yeah. But the idea of a Bandog goes all the way back to the Middle Ages. The word Bandog goes back to the Middle Ages. It's actually in Shakespeare. There's a reference to Bandog in Shakespeare.
Yeah. And I wonder if we'd even be using that name today if Swinford didn't revive the name back in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Because John Swinford, of course, revived the name Bandog, and that was how I personally got exposed to Bandogs. Believe it or not, the University of Illinois had the book, The World of Fighting Dogs, in their library. They have a huge library at the University of Illinois, and the Department of Agriculture, they even had their own library at the U of I. And one day I was in there and I was thumbing through Carl Smitz's book, The World of Fighting Dogs, and it's not a dog fighting book like people think it is. It's really about different breeds of dogs that have been used in dog fighting. Yeah. And so people thought, it's a fighting dog book, and not really. There's a lot of breeds out there that
it's more of a history book.
It's more of a history book. And in that book, I came across John Swinford's.
Send a check. Send a check. But my computer sound like a PS4 playing 2K26.
This one for Bandog.
Hold on. Niles C said something. So would you need to add other dogs, or can you just use non-standard borables? That's a great point. I mean, there's also something else I want to play into the factor. Look is not my first thing. Performance. So I say function over form. And when I say form, I just mean the outer, like the color, the look. I mean, that's something I do want to play into that though. I do want a certain look at some, not a certain look, but I mean just adding that Borble, adding just stacking Borble on Borble. I don't think that's gonna be. How can I put this? I feel like there's more I can add to the Borble, improving on it with another breed. You know what I mean? Because I want it, like I said, I want it taller to be more proficient for efficient for boar hunting, and longer legs also means that dog can cover more ground. So Borble is more bulldogish type. I mean, it was reintroduced with Bull Mastiff and English Mastiff. That's why you see some so smashed to faces. But yeah, I mean, I want a longer leg for more ground to be covered. I want that dog to be as agile as possible, you know? And that's why I kind of did that video on type that I would prefer. And like I said, hound type is my preference. Like I said, you get that long leg, but like I said, there's qualities to the Borble that I like. I like the strong, the powerful jaws. I like its frame. I like the bone density. But I feel like there's something else I can add to that to improve upon its frame and bring it to another level. Because hybrid vigor, once again, is something that hybrid vigor is something is a tool. It can bite you. Don't get me wrong, but it's something that a lot of great dogs today that are created or that are being used. It's what made them. You feel me? And we're going to do an episode on hybrid vigor here soon. I'd rather have somebody I'm very close with. Borbles are actually one of the most agile of the Mastiff group. The Great Dane, of course, is number one, as it was the original running catch dog, but which was also used. Great Dane was also used in the Dogo Argentino. But the Borble is one of the most agile Mastiffs. And like I said, the Tosa Inu is a thought. I mean, I'm not taking off the table that, like I said, though, you just, when you're crossing, you got to think about temperament also, not just frame. There's a lot that comes with that. But, and it also depends on type. Like I said, the hound type is more of a more agile, more durable, higher endurance. So that's why I said I'm looking through candidates to kind of understand. Stop. I ain't talking to you now, see, but stop. You know who you are. Let's get back to the video, though. Caveman, salute, brother. We on here cooking on this Bandog video with David Ishii and Mr. Lee Robinson.
I thought was pretty
You hit the
cool.
replay if you want to.
And I don't know if that influenced children.
You get a notification.
I
I
suspect.
don't know why you didn't get a notification. Probably because it's through
There's not a lot
StreamYard.
of mention
I
of
don't
it
know
in like
though.
the 30s or 40s.
You hear now, brother?
When it comes to comparing my program to David's program, I kind of think of John Swinford's program is right in the middle. I don't know. I've never told you this.
No.
The reason why I say that is John Swinford, he really was trying to improve the Mastiff, like you are, but he used a high percentage of game bred pit bull. He ran anywhere from 50% to 75% Mastiff, and about 50% to 25% pit bull blood for most of his breedings. He had a lot of Mastiff blood. You tend to have even more Mastiff than that,
Yeah.
and I tend to have more pit bull than that. So
Yeah,
John Swinford's kind of like right in the middle of us.
Yeah, and if I wasn't using the Great Dane, I probably would have to use more.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of the Mastiffs, trying to get leanness and athleticism and stuff like that.
Cleanliness of body, efficiency of movement, stamina,
trying to get that
speed.
from like Neo blood is you're digging a dry well there.
Yeah, that's right.
But so you have to use a lot of pit bull to try and get that physical ability, but the Great Dane kind of offsets that a little bit.
The Borbal, I've never used the Borbal, and you've never used the Borbal either. But if I was starting from scratch, if I wanted a clean Mastiff, the Borbal and the Great Dane would certainly be two breeds I would consider.
Yeah.
But
which that's another thing, people talk about breed a lot. And the thing I always try to get people to focus on is focus on the dog.
That's right.
Because I was looking on Facebook the other day, somebody was asking, what's better, a bull mastiff or a Borbal? And it's like, it depends on the individual. A great bull mastiff is better than a terrible Borbal. A great Borbal is better than a terrible bull mastiff.
Or even average. Because there's a lot of average dogs out there.
Sure.
And this is
the majority.
The one question that I've always hated is what is the mix of your dogs?
Yeah.
And it's not because it's some secret recipe that I want to keep secret. It's because anybody that asks the question, how did you make your dog? And when they ask the question, how did you make their dog? They're interested in the breeds that I used. Right. They're not interested in the individuals that I used. And yet you can have 5 pit bulls in front of you and all 5 of them be different dogs. Right. And you could do the same thing with Mastiffs. You could have 5 Neapolitans in front of you and all 5 of them are different. So,
Yeah, it's like compare Eclipse to the average English Mastiff.
Eclipse was without a doubt the reason why my program is successful. And you might think, well,
Salute,
you
Joe.
use so much pit bull. Why would you put so much success or credibility into Eclipse? Well, the reason why is because if I want to go find a great American Pit Bull Terrier, a game bred dog, when I started 20 years ago, that was actually fairly accessible. Finding a good English Mastiff was near about impossible. That dog was awesome. Yeah. And I had Tosa Inu, which was nice. We had access to Achilles, which was nice. And Achilles helped our program for sure. So I was glad David got that dog. But Eclipse is definitely the reason why our program has been successful. Now, if I went to breed some other English Mastiff, which I've done before, it didn't work out so well. Yeah. Even though those dogs worked. They worked. They just didn't produce like she did. Yeah. And that goes back to Tobin Jackson's blood. Tobin Jackson, I don't know if you know who he is. He was an English Mastiff breeder that was known for, I guess this was probably in the...
There's DIY, and there's doing it yourself.
Joe, what you say? Send a check. Send a check. I just want to strike on something real quick. So, like I said earlier. Oh, okay, man. Yeah, I thought you had a Borbal. I was tripping. But yeah, with this video, I really formed a lot of posts. Like, I think my first talking post was that was with a topic and everything was about Tobin Jackson that I learned about from him, from these two gentlemen. Well, Lee Robinson talking about it. So yeah, I mean, there's just a wealth of things you can listen to and pick up on and research yourself from this video.
Anyway, I'm just guessing on the years now, maybe anywhere from 1950 to 1990. I don't know how long he bred. I don't know if he bred up to 2000 or not, but Tobin Jackson ended up getting kicked out of the AKC because he crossbred English Mastiffs with other Mastiff breeds to try to save the health of the English Mastiff. And he ended up getting busted for that.
Which is so
and he had
crazy.
precedent, supposedly, as well.
Which is so crazy because the English Mastiff after World War II was almost extinct.
Yeah.
And so they bred Saint Bernard and they bred Bull Mastiff. Yeah, and they bred a bunch of other large dogs, Mastiff type blood, into the handful of surviving English Mastiffs to save the breed in like the 50s.
Yeah.
So I mean, all the English Mastiffs in the 50s were
pretty much gone.
Yeah, and that's why they were all like sort of this hybrid population to begin with. So the idea of putting a little more outcross in them is not an insane thing to do, but he gets in trouble for it.
Yeah, he got banned from the AKC for a while, and his some people love his blood and some people hate his blood. The people that love his blood because he saved the English Mastiff, and he was a massive breeder. I mean, very proliferative program.
Let me say this: if y'all know of any kennels or individuals with Deer Run or Tobin Jackson English Mastiff blood, let me know. We can get them on an interview. I want to work with them. I want a dog from them. All that. I mean, like you hear it, like these dogs were different. These dogs were something totally different. Let me take this comment off of here. Yeah, those dogs were different. I don't know if I can't remember if Lee is going to talk about this, but he had a Deer Run kennel English Mastiff, I think Eclipse, and she was able to, I think he's going to say it. Let's just see if he's going to say it, so I don't, because I'm going to let Mr. Robinson say it, not me.
The name of his kennel was Deer Run Kennels. So you may have heard that. Okay, so Deer Run blood is Tobin Jackson's blood, and but if I wanted an English Mastiff today, I'd be looking for Deer Run big time. There's these purists, the diehard purists, they want to avoid it because they don't want the crossbred blood, but their dogs don't work like this.
Yeah, but in the same time, if you go back in the ancestry of any of the purebred blood, you're still going to run into Saint Bernard, Bull Mastiff, stuff like that. That's why sometimes there's piebald English Mastiffs, sometimes there's long-haired English Mastiffs.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the biggest thing is like it's not a recipe. Like you got to find greatness wherever greatness is and capture that.
Yeah. David, I asked him if he'd do this video because there's basically two programs. So I'm gonna give a shout out to a person that I know of. I talked to him a little bit. We've never done business, but I respect him. And that is Trent at Rustic Bandogs. I think he's got a legit program, and I think David Ishees got a legit program. And
so we didn't talk about it. Lee Robinson, he's posted about it on Facebook. This was years ago. I've actually brought it to some of his pictures of Eclipse, the English Mastiff of Deer Run Kennels blood that he owned, that he bred into his program to build the American Sentinel Canine. But that English Mastiff, he stated he would be cutting the grass, and he lives in Mississippi. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. He lives in Mississippi, which is hot. I mean, said he would be cutting the grass and Eclipse, the Deer Run Kennels blood English Mastiff he owned, would be running around, just running around, and wouldn't overheat and wouldn't have a heat stroke or fall out. You know, it would be able to perform and move and fluidly and be able to do what a dog is supposed to do. So that's why I'm big on Deer Run and Tobin Jackson. A lot of people hated him. I, as a man of performance and in love with performance dogs, I don't know how you could hate that man. But let's go back to the video.
Over the 30 years that I've been studying the band dogs and 20 years that I've been breeding band dogs, I'm disappointed in saying that there's almost no programs out there that I endorse anymore, because I want to see two things when I'm looking for a program. One of the things I want to see is consistent working dogs. The other thing that I want to see is consistent the breeder needs to be a person of consistent principles. And David Ishii, I'm just endorsing his program because his character is phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you what, right off the bat, and I know you're wanting to say thanks or something there because I can see movements, but right off the bat, I'll tell you, first thing you need to look for in a breeder is their character. There's a lot of people that'll show you some dogs and they're not bred the way they say they are. And I've got documentation to prove that, but I don't want to blast anybody. I'm disappointed about the dishonesty in the industry. And I think David deserves credit. If you're looking for a big working Mastiff type dog, that's a Bandog type dog for home protection work or sentry work, holler at him. He's got some really good Mastiff type dogs. Are they all going to meet my criteria? I think he'll probably tell you that none of them do. But same would be said.
Exactly.
But same would be said if we flipped.
I just want to say, salute the, I don't know if Colossal Mastiff, my guy Lamone, is in here, but salute to him, man. He had a vision a long time ago, and he's really perfected that and worked on that, and did his due diligence to the Mastiff, especially with his look. I mean, we definitely, me and that brother, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if he's in here or not, but we're gonna definitely, we got something in the works coming here soon, so y'all be on the lookout, because I definitely would love to pick his brain on that. So salute the Colossal Mastiff, Mr. Lamone.
So I don't look at his dogs and judge them on my criteria. I look at his dogs and judge them on his criteria, and I also judge him as a working Mastiff.
And that's why we've even though we've been working together, training and cooperating for what, 10, 12 years, something like that.
It's been at least 10 years.
Yeah. We've only crossed blood a couple of times.
It's probably been 12 years. I don't know.
Struggling with complicated content and editing software?
Send the
I
check.
was too. Riverside really simplified
no
things.
ads for free.
Oh yeah, it was 2009 or so when we first met up in Jackson.
So yeah, 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've only crossed blood a couple of times because we have different goals. For me, my Bandog's the American Sentinel, and I named it American Sentinel because I did not want to name the dog after me. I felt like I've seen some people that have named dogs after themselves, and what happens is their program never turns into
anything but them.
Yep. It's just, it stays on their yard. It never becomes a real program because nobody, if I want to breed his dogs and they're named after him, then my program will never be really successful because if you want one of his dogs, you're going to go to him. And I wanted to build a network. I wanted to build a breed. And for me to be able to do this, I know that it takes many, many years, many decades, really. And I'm going to be getting older where it's going to be difficult for me to do. And maybe I don't want to keep 20, 30, 40 dogs anymore. So maybe right now I've got 27 plus all these, I got 20 puppies. I got 47 dogs on the yard, mouths to feed right now. Right. So, but when I get older, I don't want to do that. And so maybe I'll have 2 or 3 and I want to call somebody up and buy one. One of my own
exactly right.
Own
That's
dogs.
Exactly what I want.
And so for me to do that, I wanted it to be a program that was named after what is the purpose of the dog, and that way anybody else that gets involved can be just as successful. And I named it American Sentinel Canine because American, obviously, because this is the origin of the breed. Sentinel because it's supposed to be a guardian. And then canine because canine implies working dog, and instead of just dog. Right. So that's why I chose that name. There was a reason. What was I going to say before I got into the name? Oh, my dogs are smaller, and my dogs. I like the pit bull a lot. It's my favorite purebred dog. The game bred American Pit Bull Terrier that goes through gladiator type programs. The performance tested ones that goes back to the first pit bulls that were imported in this country. Those are my favorite purebred dogs. But they're too small and they lack the protective instinct. So I wanted to increase the size and increase the protective instinct. But
yeah, and for me, it's more like maintain the size of the Mastiff, get rid of all the garbage and the waste and the lack of health and honestly cowardice that runs through a lot of the Mastiff breeds, and just like take them back in time to where they were back when they were like actually working breed.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the Mastiffs back in the 1800s or 1700s or whatever year it would be. These dogs were functional dogs that put food on the table or kept attackers out of the house.
Yeah.
They protected livestock. I don't really want a livestock guardian, but they protected the livestock. They protected the family, and that's what they should be capable of doing. But they were also about probably 90 to 125 pounds for the most part.
Yeah.
Maybe some big ones, but they certainly.
But people were
150.
smaller then too, so it balances out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. My whole thing, like, why go all the way up to 150?
Oh,
which
do you?
Well, I mean, 150 is like my biggest dog. It's like Achilles is 150, right? And like Osiris is 145 and stuff like that. But like, why go all the way up that high? You know, I've seen what, like in my martial arts days, I've seen what some really big guys can do. Like I've had people I was sparring with pick me up with their offhand, full extension, and lift me into the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably like 160 pounds.
I saw that one time when I was at a party. A guy reached out and grabbed somebody's arms were full extended. That was a girl that he picked up, but she was still, I don't know, 140 pounds.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could pick her up with his arms straight out was pretty darn impressive.
Yeah.
I heard about some test that they were doing by holding just an empty barbell out, which is only 45 pounds.
Yeah.
And this guy was holding 140 pounds. Now, it was a really big man.
Yeah.
He was obese, but he was strong as all get out. But
and that's the thing. There's some really strong guys out there. So
there
like,
are.
you know, something like Malinois sized. You know,
I mean, you could use a door, or I don't really believe people are going to throw dogs that are locked on. You can't throw a dog that's locked onto you, but you can use a door, and you can, if you can't get to the door, you can't use the door. So, you know, if you can get to a door and then you can close the door on the dog's head, and the dog starts adjusting its grip because of the door, and eventually get to where you're able to close it. One of the reasons why I like a little smaller dog instead of the big Mastiff dog is, even though the big Mastiff dogs are more powerful and have more weight, they also lose agility, they lose speed, they lose stamina, they lose heat tolerance. And so all of those things that I just mentioned help maintain intensity.
Yeah.
And by maintaining intensity, what's more imposing to me as a decoy depends on the environment that I'm in. If I am in a small scenario, like when I'm within his strike range, a dog like Achilles can be intimidating, right? When that dog can get you, if he gets on top of you, oh my goodness, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If he ever gets on top of you, you're in real trouble. But if he's not on top of me, the one that's fast and agile is real trouble.
All right.
So if I was, let's say, going to break into a fenced area,
Right.
and you had a Mastiff on one side or a super intense dog on the other side, I'm probably more likely to go in with the Mastiff. And that might
depends on the Mastiff, but yeah.
That now Osiris, I have to give it to him. That sucker's fast, and he could get you. But the reason why I say that is because I feel like I could lure a Mastiff into getting into a position where I could trap his power. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And
with your experience, I could definitely see that.
yeah, and this is not going to be something that's done by your average thief.
Right.
So, you know, as an experienced decoy, I can see where I can trap his power, and if I can trap his power, then I don't worry about it. But that's going to require me to like move in such a way where I could possibly pin him in. Now, these are extreme situations.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you could talk about all day long, and you come up with different balance points for exactly what scenario.
And that's something I battle for my own program, and probably he battles too.
Yeah.
And so we came to different conclusions, but we respect each other's opinions because I know why he does what he does, and he knows why I do what I do.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have to agree; we just understand each other.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And like even situations like, if you had like when you go a little broader and you think about like pounds of food per like arbitrary unit of protection. so like the cost of protection.
Yeah, cost gain ratio.
Yeah, exactly. So you talk about like 2 dogs is always going to be significantly more dangerous than 1, right? So 2 dogs,
they get along.
Yeah. So a 140-pound dog versus 2 70-pound dogs.
But 140-pound dog doesn't need as much as two 70-pound dogs.
Well, sure, but let's just say whatever the balance point
Sure.
is, 150-pound dog, you know,
Sure.
whatever, or you know, trying to outmaneuver one dog where you can really focus all your attention is a lot easier than two.
Yeah, and I'll say with my program, you can't have two of my dogs together unless they're opposite gender.
Yeah.
If I have two females together, they're going to have combat. If I have two males together, they're going to be combative. My dogs have the mindset of a pit bull for the most part, except I've changed two things: more size and more protective instinct.
Adobe Creative Cloud
In the check.
enables me to work for myself on lots of different projects.
And
I
that
still have that
can
compassion.
happen with mine too.
But if you have a male and a female, it's not a problem.
Yeah, if you have a male and female, it's not a problem. But an experienced trainer can make them get along under some circumstances, but it's difficult and not reliable.
It is. And yeah, I could, if I put in a lot of obedience with my dogs and then introduce two males with each other, yeah, I can do that. Do I? No, because I've got too many. But I've done it before 20 years ago when I had, or 15 years ago when I had less dogs. And I had two intense males side by side, no problem. But I put in a ton of obedience, and I would never leave the room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but if
Don't leave the room.
If you left them there, and or they were just loose together on your property, and it was like the neighbor's dog was a bitch went in heat.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you're gonna come home and there's not been a problem.
Oh, big problem. Yep. Yeah, and I know people that have disagreed with me, and they've tried it, and they may have been successful with that with their past experienced dogs. But when they got dogs from me and they tried it, it was fine and dandy until 3 years later. One day it was a bad situation.
And that's usually what I recommend too. It's just easier.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah. But but I guess my overall point is, the amount of investment for the amount of protection gained, like 250, 140-pound dogs, it's a lot of food.
Yeah, and something else, and I don't know if David has martial arts experience. He used to teach martial arts. Yeah. And I don't know if this influences our decision a little bit, but
I feel like it probably does. I have a lot of respect for the amount of damage a man can do.
Yeah, I do too. Too. But I'm also thinking about a tactical person while you're thinking more about brute force. Probably.
Well, some of it, but some of it's also like, even with like a big dog, like if you're fighting two people or you're fighting somebody with a weapon or experience, like the amount of damage a man can do, you gotta have a certain amount of mass to absorb a ton of damage.
Right. Now that's on that note, and I hope you don't mind me saying, for that reason, I don't use Great Dane, because even though they're a big dog, they're not a durable dog. I've seen Great Danes get hurt with things that wouldn't hurt a pit bull half the size, and I just think that they're too fragile. So
I'm not gonna say that's a battle we fight, but I mean a lot of people, even some experienced dogmen, it's a border. It's two. Some of them really praise the Great Dane, and then again, excuse me, I'm sorry. That's where that's where with these performance crosses, we take what we need from a dog, but like I said, you have to take into account what comes with it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Some Great Danes might not be as durable. So therefore we're gonna have to add English Mastiff, Neapolitan Mastiff, Presa Canario, Dogo, something just to that has a higher pain threshold, if that's what you're looking for. But the Great Dane has its qualities and it has its disadvantages as well. I mean, but that, like I said, that's all dogs. I mean, the Boerboel has its disadvantages, which I think I might do a video on those to see what I might not like or what could possibly come up once I get the Boerboel. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something to take into account.
I like that hardy dog by just the physique is hardy, but I don't necessarily get hardiness by size.
Yeah.
But a big dog
sure.
is definitely, a dog like that's going to definitely be hardy.
Him in particular, he would absorb a lot of
punishment.
But I've had dogs that were more Great Dane. He's probably like without.
Yeah, I know.
He's probably 20% or less.
Right.
But if you start approaching 50%, that's a lot of Great Dane, and you do.
Facts. I state this all the time. And Caveman actually has Great Danes. I mean, we're gonna get into that also on our we have a podcast coming up. We have an episode coming up this Wednesday at 7. What we say 7? Did we say 7 o'clock or 7:30? I don't know. I have to make a banner and a post for it. But yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to say this is the battle that we fight. I mean, that dog was bred for that. It's just at this point, it just depends on where you get that dog from and how it was bred and what it's used for. So that's why I said a lot of people praise him and a lot of people look down on him. Yeah, it's the same with every breed. Yeah, you're correct, Caveman. 100%. That's why you said exactly ready. Exactly. 28, 32 inches, long legs, can immobilize a boar and can chase down a boar with ease. I mean, they have Great Dane in their blood. That's what they were. That's how they were created with Great Dane. I mean, not Great Dane with Greyhound. Excuse me. But yeah, there's downsides to all breeds, and there's scrubs. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There's scrubs with every breed. You just got to find the quality and take advantage of it. Yeah, vitals, but yeah, they fight down, of course. Yeah, it's definitely something. It'll definitely help you keep your catch dog around. That's why I said. That's why I kind of no disrespect to the pit bull community, but a lot of people always brandish or show off that, oh, my dog can take pain, my dog can get his butt kicked. For what? There's no reason. You about to your dog about to take it to where it's not gonna come back. Take it somewhere to where it's not gonna come back, and dog's gonna end up getting killed. So why do we want that when we have dogs that are built for or bred for, like the Great Dane, bred for boar hunting? And yeah, Danes are wolfhounds, mastiff. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Caveman, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna definitely get into that this Wednesday. So y'all tune in this Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and I like durability, but I also like the speed and intensity. So
It's a very hard balance point.
it is a hard balance.
Because you can't just program what you want. You know, you're having to like select.
Mm-hmm.
So you get what you get. You know, you can pick what you start with, and you get what you get, and you pick the best of that and the closest to your goal. But you'll never like find that exact perfect point.
Right.
You stick a pin in the idea in your head is sitting in front of you.
Right.
Or at least you can get damn close to it.
You can get really close, but I've never seen the perfect dog, in my opinion. I know people that have given me a hard time that said, "Well, Lee, you're always trying to change something in a dog." Arnold Schwarzenegger always tried to change something in himself, and that's why he was a 7-time Olympic champion or whatever. He would look in the mirror and find what can be improved. If you can jump 10 feet, hey, jump 11, jump 12.
Something we all should strive to do, no matter if it's these dogs, your work, just I mean, whatever you're doing, strive to get better. Just like, I mean, we're talking about dogs. Every generation, I want to get better. I mean, if I take a setback, I mean, what did I do wrong? How can I fix that? How can I make it better? Am I going to have to restart? There's definitely different things you have to take into account, but yeah, definitely strive to get better in your program and your life, whatever you're doing.
Jump 13. You always got to try to move it to the next ultimate level. And when it comes to durability, when I said tactics, in my opinion, can beat durability. If you have two people that are not tactical, then brute force wins.
Yeah.
But if they're tactical, I've seen 55, 65, 75-pound dogs control a 300-pound hog.
Yeah.
And even
though
the hog's more brute force, the tactic of evasiveness and strategy and speed and stamina.
Yeah, and a man's much smarter than a pig.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, most of them. There are some smart pigs and some dumb
That's
people.
why we're the superior being on the planet. I mean, we can kill a whale.
Yeah.
Human beings can kill a whale. We can kill. If you tell me, Lee, we're going to fight a grizzly bear tomorrow, and winner gets $1 million, of course, or a bear gets all the berries and fish that he wants.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to win because I'm going to go with a gun.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what makes human beings the strongest being on the planet is our brain.
Yeah, for sure.
David, say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, that's one of the things. Like, you show up with a like a baseball bat or something. You get it down into the 30, 40 pound dog
Oh yeah,
range.
I wouldn't want. I don't know. I've seen people make videos of piglets or little tiny dogs do protection work. But even piglets. I saw the guy did protection work with a pig, and it was a piglet. And I saw a
I'm
guy
gonna
that
check
did
that
protection
out.
work with like lap dogs. And
Right.
to me, that's if
It's
you want to
just
do
a
it for
funny
fun,
thing, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
but-
you got your min pin on the sleeve, you know.
But I don't get it because honestly, you're possibly creating a liability
Yeah,
that has
so
no
you're-
protective
What that was.
instincts.
You're teaching a behavior that's gonna cause you a problem and give you no benefit.
Yeah, no benefit because one kick, the dog is done.
Yeah.
Ribs are broke, dog's dead.
Send a check.
Capacitor course check is okay.
Yeah, I don't know about no piglets and no pigs doing protection work. I'm gonna have to look that up.
And
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen that. You know, like even things like some of my dogs being around horses.
Turkeys
and
are
stuff,
savages.
You know, I've heard of dogs getting kicked by horses, getting injured, and things like that. But, you know, it takes like it doesn't matter. Like I don't think there's a significant difference in the bone density from one breed to another. Maybe some breeds like sight hounds or something have been selected for speed.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with pain tolerance and muscle density, maybe, or tightness.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but like also just like the cross sectional area is going to be the main thing.
yeah, that's right.
You know, so you start.
That's why
getting-
Great Danes are not durable because they just don't have the bone mass.
Yeah, and that's also one of the reasons we have a slightly different structure.
Yeah, I'm about
Dogs
to
are a little
definitely look at. I don't know where I'm gonna be able to.
and a little
I don't know
more-
where I would look. I'm gonna look though for sure,
not
Hunter.
really
But
wide.
not for him, but he's kind of bulky for my program.
I got you.
He's kind of bulky for my program. He's got a lot of neo. He's got a lot of lips. He's got some things about him I would change. Which is why I'm breeding him to more leaner, cleaner females. But like you think about a dog like Kronos or Osiris or dogs like that. Taller, leaner.
Good balance.
Yeah. So with
Yeah, I
at different sizes, you got to sort of slide the structure a little bit.
Sure.
The shape. So because your dogs, some of them, their bones may be bigger, proportionate to the size of the dog.
Maybe a little bit.
Not
Well, not for
Not
him,
for
but
him, not
for
for some
Osiris or
of them.
Kronos, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because like Osiris, he may be that wide in the shoulder, but that's just like muscle. So like his actual shoulder joints are probably that far apart.
I think a lot of durability comes with muscle mass,
Oh, of course.
and
Absorbing.
not fine bone. Like you
Yeah,
could say
exactly.
a greyhound has a lot of muscle, but it's so fine bone it's not durable.
Yeah.
And I have unfortunately seen Great Danes sustain injury that
Oh yeah, for sure.
was not suitable. I mean,
And there's some variability in the Great Danes. There's some European lines of Dane that are pretty heavy.
See what you're saying, caveman. Yeah.
anything else you want to add?
No. I mean, I think it's interesting, but I think the biggest point is like you were talking about earlier. The main thing is like as far as what people should look for in a Bandog program is like they're saying the character of the breeder is the number one thing, because it's like anything, whether it's a car or whatever. If you're dealing with a shady person,
Who knows
can't
what you're
trust
going
the
to get?
results. Yeah.
Who knows what you're going to get? And who knows how they're going to treat you if you need help?
Exactly. And then at the same time, you got things like, the dog that you get, is a big investment. It's an expensive animal, and it's 10 years to 15 somewhere in there of like something you're gonna have to do every day for years.
I saw someone said, and I think the person that made the comment thought it offended me, but it didn't offend me. It was just, I responded in a way where I thought, look at this from another perspective.
Right.
And when I said, look at this from another perspective, sometimes when you say that kind of thing, it makes a person defensive and afraid that they offended you. He did not offend me. But his comment was, dogs are getting so expensive now, I'm going to need a loan to buy one. Because my dogs go from $1,500 to $4,000 right now. And honestly, in the near future that's liable to change to 2,000 to 5,000. Things are going well for our program, but that's because my investment here is tremendous. I've got a massive investment here. I told David that I spent, what was it, $2,900 on 3,320 pounds of food, and that's going to last me 2 months. I'm spending $1,500 a month now on dog food right now. Yeah. And then I've got a kennel I'm paying for and everything else. So it's really expensive. But my response was, think about this from a different perspective. Let's say you get a free 80-pound dog, or in your case, a free 120-pound, 130-pound dog, 140-pound dog. If it was free, you're still going to spend at least $100 a month to keep that dog alive over its life. You're going to buy dog food, vet care, kennels, leashes, equipment, supplies, training, maintenance. You're going to spend at least $100 a month. And you multiply that by 10 years, that's $1,200 a year times 10. That's $12,000 for the life of the dog, if it's a 10-year-old dog. And that was for a free dog that you might not like, or maybe you like it, but it doesn't bring anything to the table. My thoughts are, if you're going to spend $12,000 for a dog, it needs to bring something to the table.
Yeah, for sure.
So protection or hog hunting or something like that.
Yeah. And you know, and that's something a lot of people understand is you know, you want to get some kind of value out of the dog that you're getting.
Yeah, and if you buy one of my cheaper dogs, a $1,500 dog, that's 10% of the cost.
Yeah.
Well, anything else to say before we cut it off?
No.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope y'all found this video entertaining. Y'all have a blessed day.
Looking to add a little wiggle to your life?
Send a check. Send a check. All right. Well, guys, that's it. I mean, while we're here, what y'all think about that? Was that I feel like that was a great video. That's why, so like I said, I watched it multiple times. But even just doing stuff like this, just reviewing videos and kind of watching it, going over it a little bit and talking about it, I think that was pretty cool. Yeah, appreciate it, Reddy. Yeah, it was definitely something. I mean, it was great talking points and something to talk about. But y'all got any questions, any suggestions, anything y'all want to say before I cut this joint? Let me know. Let me know something. Anybody, somebody. No. All right, for sure. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I get y'all 2-piece tonight. I feel it. Yes, sir. Salute to everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Hey, keep me in the Reddy, you gonna get us canceled. Reddy said stop buying AKC puppies. Salute, Caveman. Hey, y'all remember, y'all, Caveman, we finna I have heard of Kimura Bandog. I think we might follow each other. I think. I could be wrong. Let me double check. I follow a couple Bandog breeders. I might not be thinking of the same person you're thinking of. But yeah, y'all stay tuned. Me and Caveman got an interview this Wednesday. This week. So y'all stay tuned. Put that on the put that in here. I think I might schedule it so y'all can save it and be ready. But yeah, thank y'all for supporting. Stay tuned. We got a lot on the way. Salute.